There's this saying that floats among us female Indian international students when we first come to an American university. Your first hookup in college is always some random mid-white guy. It's an absurd thing to hear out loud, but somehow it sticks. Beneath the problematic assumptions of heteronormativity and beauty, there's something hidden, a truth we struggle to admit, a quiet confession. The moment you get involved with a white guy, something shifts. It's like looking into a mirror that reflects more than your face. All these buried insecurities, quiet questions of belonging, internalized racism you felt you were immune to, rise to the surface. There's the way white men see us, treat us, a spectrum that runs from fetishization to invisibility. You're either the exotic other, the side character, or you're not even part of the equation. In fact, we recently saw this play out on The Bachelorette, with Jen Tran standing there in full view and yet somehow unseen. Watching her, I could feel the weight of it, the quiet violence of being desired and dismissed all at once. As Margaret Atwood puts it, you are a woman with a man inside watching a woman. You are your own warrior. Here in America, I'd argue that man inside is white. The white man's validation is what we've been trained to strive for above all. Jen didn't ask for this, but she was still pulled into it. Sam M. preferring a Daisy or Maria over her. Devin's silence, saying everything without saying much at all.
I mean, I think it's just the classic of like you think you've made it if you're dating like white people or something, because white people are considered like the pinnacle of attractiveness. So if you could date someone that has that pinnacle, then that means like, oh, you must be doing something right.
There's another shadow standing there too. White women. They are the standard we are always measured against. Their beauty, their ease, their that girlness, their place in the world. As brown women, we find ourselves constantly trying to match up, to fit into a mold that was never made for us.
As like a brown person, like when you're attracted to someone, like often like it's like a question before a question of like, is this person even into my race? Which is not something that I feel like white girls have to deal with. And I definitely like have found myself like comparing myself to white women way more than I did in high school.
And when white men do choose us, it comes with baggage. So much baggage. There's the weight of explaining ourselves, our culture, our stories, while they never have to explain theirs. We're expected to know their world, their pronunciations, their cinnamon toast crunch, Macy's and Targets and Trader Joe's, because Western culture is the default, the water we've been swimming in our whole lives.
I just don't sometimes like how they assume certain things about India, which I think is kind of unfair. Like, it's okay if you don't know everything, but rather than trying to like assume and be like make some sort of claims that are like very out of touch from reality, maybe like start by asking us about it first.
But I don't want you to think that dating a white guy is always this heavy burden we carry. I'm not saying it never works. I have a best friend from Minnesota who's dating my other best friend from Mumbai, and I don't think two people have ever been more perfect for each other. For them, their varying cultures are a subject they love to explore together. They're each other's compass, the ground the other stands on. And I've learned through this piece that it isn't all sunshine and butterflies on the other side either.
I've expressed to him that I definitely carry a sense of guilt for knowing that I know his culture less intimately than he knows mine. And inherently, like, I've never visited India. He grew up coming to the United States. He has extended family who lives in the US. So even his familiarity with the country is completely different, in addition to the fact that obviously, like, with globalization and US media being considered the norm, he also is like, our relationship is taking place in the United States. So it's like, this is like the norm that we're like, getting to know each other in.
So many partners come from a place of genuine curiosity, of wanting to understand. They don't assume, they don't fetishize. Sometimes they really see you, not as an other, but as a person. Complex, beautiful, lovable.
I mean, I don't think like interracial relationships should be like inherently harder than non-interracial relationships. Like, like if they're like, I feel like they should just be difficult for the same reason all relationships are difficult.
So maybe it's possible to break free from this idea that a white man's validation is what we need. Maybe one day we won't have to measure ourselves against them or against the white women they so often choose. Maybe we can look at each other first, before the color of our skin, and see people, see kind, loving individuals. Maybe we'll find a way to love without carrying the centuries of race dynamics on our shoulders.
There's always going to be ways in which the person you're dating is different from you and has had different experience. And I think that is always something that you're navigating in a relationship. And I think interracial or international dating makes those things really obvious and really tangible. But I think that process of getting to know someone and understand someone and empathize and understand how different elements of their background formed them is something that's in every relationship. And I don't think it's inherently a burden. I think it's just something that you learn to navigate and love with, like a culture and a country beyond this person. And like you're just learning so much and you get exposed to so much in such an intimate way that's so different from how you otherwise get to learn about other countries and other people. I mean, one of the things that I talked about early on when we were dating is like the fact that we get to use 2 languages worth of terms of endearment is something that's very sweet to me and very special to me. And it expands to just all the different ways people can express themselves beyond just like, you know, for me, what I was exposed to in English. And there are like, you get to fold in each other's traditions, and then there are all these other ways to celebrate and express love. Like you just get kind of double of everything and get to see different ways of doing things.